Morning.
So what are we doing then, Dan?
So what we're going to do, Stevie, we're going for a walk. We're going for a walk, your favourite thing. So basically, the weather's still been chopping and changing a lot. It's not been brilliant. Today looks a bit brighter, but we're not getting our hopes up because it keeps raining on and off. And we're going to go for a walk somewhere at the north end of the national park. We're near a place called Captain Cook's Monument. There's a monument to Captain Cook, basically, who I think went to school here or something. And then we're going to do a walk around some of the malls and end up on Roseberry Topping, I believe. So we're going to go for a walk. I'm going to stop waffling because that's all I ever do. We'll see you outside. Right, so this walk's not too long. I think it's about 8 kilometres maximum. It's a circular walk, which we try to do all the time now if we're going to do a walk, because when you're in a van, you want to park up and return to it without kind of walking in a straight line and having to walk all the way back. What this has kind of reminded me is Stephen's clothes are actually alright. He's got some walking boots, which he hasn't used for a while, and he's got a decent kind of raincoat, which I haven't got at the moment. I haven't got a decent raincoat. I haven't got any decent walking shoes. The shoes I'm wearing have got a hole in anyway, so yeah, now we're getting into this kind of wintry time of year. I might want to rectify that because this isn't good.
I have got a brolly.
Steve's got a brolly. Maybe we'll be using the brolly on top of Roseberry Topping. It sounds like a poem, doesn't it? It sounds like a song. Standing under a brolly on Roseberry Topping. I know that doesn't rhyme, but... And one thing we've noticed as well in this entire national park, we haven't had trouble parking at all. We haven't had trouble finding overnight spots. I'm not saying it's easy, because nowhere in England is easy as such, but it's been a lot better than I think we both expected, and there seems to be quite a few options, which is good, isn't it?
I think it helps we're here out of season.
Yeah, being out of season will make a big difference. But there's lots of places where it's not banned at all, as long as you're not worried about signal, because a lot of this is not, you won't get a phone signal, but other than that, it's not too bad. So there's a lot of information about Captain Cook in this area. I was quite sad because there's a museum in Scarborough that we wanted to have a look around, but it was shut, so we couldn't do that. Don't know anything about Captain Cook, if I'm being honest, not other than the basics. My cynical head is sort of thinking, I'm assuming he's one of those dreadful people that is quite revered but did some awful things in the past, but maybe not, maybe that's not true. It probably isn't true. But when we look back at historical figures now, quite often it is, so you know, I don't know if that's the case here. I hope it isn't. It's kind of amazing when you can drive through this park for miles, and it's all kind of, it's not too high, but just really rolling, dramatic kind of hills. And then suddenly you get to this end and it all just drops off and flattens out instantly. Just completely disappears, not even gradually, just suddenly it's gone. As you can imagine, at this time of year, it's wet, it's muddy, it's slippy, and it's often steep. And these things never look that bad on the camera. It's really annoying. Whenever you're trying to show like a steep hill or a steep road or anything like that, it never really picks it up. It's almost like the camera flattens things out a bit. So this just happened. We're not even halfway through yet.
Dan slipped over.
I slid down here. The entire time we've been like this. Is it really bad?
No, you've got a big patch, brown patch. Got one brown cheek.
Lovely. Oh well, we're in Yorkshire, it's this time of year, it's winter. If you're not going to get muddy and just go with it, what are you going to do, eh?
All the fun of the fair.
Yeah. It gets better and better. Maybe that was a sign for me not to film anything while I'm trying to get through all this stuff. Yeah, this is not it. The shoes I'm wearing are really old. They've got no grip on anymore. I'm now officially a damsel in distress. Here we go. I'm down. Thank you, sir. That's your once a year act of courtship, isn't it?
Yeah.
I should count my blessings.
Once a decade.
Huh?
Once a decade.
Once a decade, yeah. What am I talking about? As if it's that often. So we just found a panel that kind of suggests that Captain Cook lived here with his family, and his dad worked on a farm here. They excavated the area, but they don't know for definite. But it was right by where these larch trees are behind us, and the farm, there's a picture of it that was discovered in the 1930s, has only had a few families since, and stories seem to suggest that Captain Cook's family did indeed live there, but nobody knows for definite. Or worked there, sorry. Lived or worked, I'm not sure. And that's Roseberry Topping. We're getting closer. If it doesn't bucket it down. Nearly there, Stevie.
Yes, it seems like it's probably more than 7 kilometres.
Yeah, it's 7 point something. But it's going to get dark soon, so let's make tracks. Made it, Stevie.
Roseberry Topping is definitely not a nice cake.
No, it's an illusion. And Roseberry Topping contains quite possibly the classiest trig point I've ever seen. Just check all that out. Some stunning artwork there, as you can see. Right, so that was Roseberry Topping. It was a bit windy up there, but you can't feel any wind this side. We don't know why it's called that. It's probably one of the most interesting hill names we've ever encountered. So it sort of feels like it could be a question on the chase or something, doesn't it? So Roseberry Topping is A, a winner of Drag Race, B, a classic English pudding, or C, a hill in the north of England. I mean, it really could be any of those three things if you didn't know. So yeah, interesting name. And quite an interesting walk. It's one of the most unusual hills because it really just juts up. It's not that steep, not that tall. There's a bit of a steep path going up, but it's not that high, 300 and something metres, and all around you the prominence is so well, I don't know what the term is, but it's very prominent. So when you're at the top, it all falls away either side, and you've got flat grounds and views for miles. Yeah, really stunning. Worth it, eh?
Yep.
Definitely worth it.
I've had enough now, I want to go.
So have I. I'm muddy, I've fallen over, we want to get back, and we don't even know where we're going yet, so we need to leave.
Yep.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Oh, for God's sake. Turns out the walk's not over. There were two ways to get back, and somehow we've ended up going the way that goes up another little hill, which I think is Little Roseberry, in order to get back down to the car park. But never mind. Obviously Steve's delighted. Just a bit worried now because it's getting darker. It seems lighter on the camera, but it's proper getting on now. You alright, Steve?
No.
Oh, okay. Let's make a move. I feel like we're both just over this now, don't you?
Yeah.
It's raining, it's getting really dark. I don't think we've got that far to go. I've had enough. Not forgetting that I'm covered in mud, which is always fun in our little van. There we go, final stretch. The end, almost. Home sweet home, eh? Get in, get in. Oh, we made it. And now we can't see a thing, so I'm going to stop the camera. Right, good morning. So we didn't film where we got to last night. We kind of got in the van, dried off. Well, we didn't dry off, everything's still wet, and then tried to find a park up for the night after going to a supermarket, which did mean driving in the dark, which we don't like doing, but you know, it needs must. It's where we were at. Anyway, we've ended up in a place called Saltburn by the Sea. Is it, Steve? Yeah. Saltburn by the Sea. So it's off the north coast, just outside the North York Moors National Park. I can't remember what county we're technically in now. We're there, we parked up, we found a little place, and you're allowed to stay here. There's campervan spots, which is really good. There's a chemical toilet waste point. There's actual toilets, although they're shut at night. So yeah, really good, and it's free overnight, and then you have to pay like £6 for the whole day or something. So definitely worth it. We're going to have a little look around town, and then we're going to head over to a campsite today because we need a wash again, and we need some power again, and just little things like that. So once a week for us on a campsite is pretty standard. In the summer or when we were abroad, we could rely on it a lot less because it was easier, and we had our power pack to charge via solar. That's a bit more difficult this time of year, and obviously in the UK it's more difficult full stop. So yeah, campsites become more of a thing, which is fine because it's just something you need, the home comforts for a while. And that's it. So we're going to get going and have some breakfast and wake up. Not in that order. Right, good afternoon. We've kind of jumped ahead in time a little bit. We stayed on a campsite. After we finished that walk, we stayed on a campsite, did what we needed to do, had a lovely shower, got some power, and then we kind of hunkered down because the weather's just not been brilliant up here, which is pretty standard at this time of year. But yeah, we didn't really sum up the walk we went on, did we? Even though it was quite obvious from watching it what you've just watched. But what did you think of the walk, Stevie?
Yeah, it was okay. The first half wasn't very good. I'd give going up to the column a miss, really.
Yeah.
In the bad weather, anyway.
At this time of year, especially.
But the walk up to Roseberry Topping, it was all right. It looked horrific, and it was a bit challenging, but it was all right, and it was nice views. But yeah, that was quite nice. I didn't mind that so much.
You actually sort of liked it?
Well, it was all right. Let's not get too excited.
Did the footage represent that? I don't know. We haven't put it together yet. Let's see, shall we? But if you're saying that, that's a good thing. Maybe he's just had a few days to think about it, or maybe he did enjoy it.
Well, I think enjoyment's a bit far.
Okay, yeah.
It was all right. It was all right.
What I did want to say is that we wanted to do a walk that kind of summed up the very essence of the North York Moors. And I feel like that didn't really do it. It's really enjoyable. There's some great views, don't get me wrong. But where we drove, that you might have seen in that video, across the centre of the moors, it's like a plateau, and there's just, it looks like a wilderness, and it truly feels like you're in the middle of nowhere, and it's very rare you get that in the UK. That felt to me like the very essence of that national park, and we kind of felt like we should go back there and do a walk across that, and I think we will at some point, but we're just not sure when. But yeah, this one, it was on the edge of the national park, so you're right in the north part, and you're kind of looking over where the moors basically end, and then everything just flattens out to miles and miles of flat land. I think you can see to Middlesbrough and beyond. You can see the sea. Really pretty, great views, but I don't think it was a walk that necessarily summed up the North York Moors as such themselves. I had something else to say. I looked that walk up on All Trails, so this isn't a plug or anything, but you know, we've just got the free version even. So I went on that, and the part of the reason we did it was because one of the comments was like, it's not that muddy. Yeah, all right. After falling over.
Depends where you went though, isn't it?
Well, that was following the trail that was on there that she commented on. This lady's saying how, it's not that muddy, but I probably should have gone with all the other comments. But to be honest, at this time of year, we were clinging to any hope, basically, that there was a dry trail.
Yeah.
So that's it, really. And that's all. That's summing up the video.
That's the end of this video. But that's it for now. Now we're going to go. We need to head off. We need to do some reality type things, I'm afraid.
God, not reality. We're running away from reality. Don't bring us back to it, for God's sake. It
keeps bloody catching us.
Oh.
So don't forget to like and subscribe. Push on the notification bell thingy again.
Whatever it does.
Whatever it does.
And that's it, really. We're going to sum up the video. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate all your support. Appreciate all your comments. And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Au revoir.
Bye.
I don't know any other language. All right, bye.
Bye.